What's up, everyone, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Jalissa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brennan. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
How y'all doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm doing pretty good. I'm practicing silence today.
He sandbagged me on the what's up.
No, I said it. I told you I wasn't gonna talk as much this episode.
He sandbagged me.
I got
crazy.
complaints
At least
from my co-host.
I got my voice back, though.
When he doesn't get his way, he sandbags.
Oh, when I don't get my way,
he takes it out.
I take a fit.
Yeah,
I do bitch fits.
Yeah, he gets mad.
What are you saying, Julie? You lost your voice?
I said I got my voice back.
You had your voice was gone?
Yeah, remember?
Yeah, the last episode she had a frog in her throat. Last two episodes she had a frog in her throat.
I thought that was just you being overwhelmed by emotions of like what we were talking about. I thought you just felt so like strongly.
Choked up.
Yeah, you were choked up, bro. I really did. What have you guys been up to? What have you been up to, Julie? What's new in the world of Jalissa?
I took my boyfriend to his first rave.
Oh, wow.
That was cool.
How'd that
I mean, it
go?
was pretty crowded.
Did he like it?
He doesn't like
comment?
big crowds. And people were like shoving and shit. So
Yeah, actually
who was the who was
Did you hear what I said?
What?
Yeah. I said he actually broke down.
No.
who was the performer?
Slender.
Slander.
He's like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's I love his song, the Beep Boop Bop song,
The Bebo Bop
where it's
song.
all just white noise and shit. That's cool.
Bruh.
Nah, man, you're thinking bop boo boo beep.
Oh yeah, my bad. He got me right. Yeah.
Bruh.
It's just so funny because I feel like EDM, like it just sounds like noise. But maybe that means I'm getting old.
That's such a diss. It's so funny.
I
Oh,
know.
sorry to everybody who listens to like
I know.
EDM.
You're
I didn't
fucked
say,
up, bro.
hey bro, I didn't say it sounded like bad noise.
So
It's because
EDM
you don't appreciate beats, bro.
Beats by Jules.
I do appreciate beats actually.
So does Deadmau5, Skrillex, do they all count as EDM?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had a phase when I was in middle school.
Oh, you had a phase.
Yeah, remember I dressed up as Deadmau5 for Halloween?
Oh,
all the time?
so yeah, EDM is
Did
only
you
listened
actually?
to.
You don't remember?
You know, yeah, he
I
did.
made the mask. I had the Deadmau5.
You were
thing.
dead mouse?
Yeah, I had the Deadmau5 thing.
And it
yeah.
lit up. It was like lit up to
It was
colors and
fucking.
stuff.
It was sick
remember
as
that.
fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't remember that. When was it?
You know what? Edit it in the clip. Any picture that you have.
Okay, yeah. It was in. Damn, I don't remember. I had to be like 5th or 6th grade, maybe less.
Damn, yeah, no.
Maybe you don't remember that?
He was cool, bro. He was
Bro,
a cool
you
kid.
didn't exist in my life until like
Which is so
crazy.
weird because it's like he's been there the whole time.
I've
We
always
went to
known
the same
about
school.
you.
I know.
I remember always seeing Julie when I go to your
I
house.
do. I only remember ever seeing him with I think your blonde hair.
What was your
Yeah.
perception of?
That was the only thing.
What with his blonde hair when he was like 19?
Yeah.
That was not that long ago.
That's the only time I remember ever seeing you in the house.
What? That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
That's crazy.
That's
bro.
crazy.
That is crazy.
I was all well. I mean, I guess you went to college, right?
Oh yeah, you were
Yeah.
gone. You were
Yeah.
gone for like 4
Yeah,
years.
I
Yeah.
guess.
That's true.
That's
I remember you would wait for Steve in the living room or something.
Yeah.
What was your
Yeah.
honest impression, like what perception of my sister?
My perception of her.
Yeah, before you guys became friends. If you guys are friends now.
I have a sister, and I feel like y'all are similar, like sister energy. So I feel like I was just like, she's like my sister, where she's like, I'm gonna be in my room, you know, that kind of thing. So I didn't really.
I'm gonna be in my room.
Yeah, I thought that was just.
What
I
was
mean,
your-
I was always in my room.
Yeah, she'd always walk by. She'd be like, "Hey," and she'd walk into her
Yeah,
room.
at least I said hi.
But sometimes you wouldn't.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you wouldn't. Sometimes you just like angrily walk into your room.
What was your perception of Brandon?
I just thought he was
Cool,
quiet.
mysterious,
Handsome.
handsome. Yeah.
quiet. I mostly was just like, oh, that's Steve's friend.
Damn.
That's crazy. And it's like we went to the same school.
I know.
And the only school we didn't go to the same was college,
yeah.
which is crazy. But whatever.
But I just saw him that way. And I feel like I said, not now, but sometimes when I am hanging out with Stevie's friends, I'm like, oh, those are Stevie's friends. They're not my friends.
You guys don't think you have a lot in common?
What about me?
No, you are. Now you are.
Oh, now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
Well, because now, since we hang out all the
We
time, ever
work
since
together.
what? Ever since what? Like
Since 2020.
2020? Yeah.
Since
Bro, that
four-
was the first time we ever had a
about to be
conversation.
About to be 4 years.
Bro, he wasn't even legally allowed to drink when we first started working together. All three of us.
He was a baby.
Yeah, he was a little baby. Have you seen him grow?
Yeah.
Damn, that didn't sound
feel
real.
like,
That was not
oh
authentic
my
at all.
God.
That didn't sound too positive.
Yeah. oof.
I feel like he's been getting out of his shell.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Aw. What about my sister? Have you seen her change?
I feel like she's been like the same. I feel like she gets that I'm kidding now more. Yeah.
Oh, before she would get super offended.
Well, before I was very like, fuck, I don't want to offend her. Like, so I don't know. Because you're very like.
You do offend me though.
I don't offend you.
You do.
No, this is not true. She was dying when the cameras were off.
That's true. He makes you laugh, bro. He makes you giggle.
Sometimes.
I finally figured her out.
You did?
I figured
What-
everybody.
Oh, you know what?
What
Yeah.
makes me laugh?
I'm not gonna
Go
spoil it.
ahead,
I'm not gonna spoil
bro.
it.
No, I know what it is.
What is it, bro? What
With
is
the
it?
fans, when you're like a little zesty, you know?
She likes when I act like a girly with her. So when I like, you know.
Go
So-
ahead. Look, she's laughing just
she's
for a minute.
laughing just by saying that. So
She's literally like thinking about it right now.
she
because he does the little hand, or when he does a little like
Oh, like the hair behind.
it's because she says like she always
Yeah.
grew up around like brothers and stuff. So I
Yeah.
could tell she's like masculine energy too much. So
She
when I pretend I'm one of the girlies with her, she's like
I always wanted a sister. That's what
Yeah.
she says.
yeah.
I always wanted a sister, but sometimes I'm like, we would have been too competitive sometimes. So.
You and your sister?
Yeah.
Your imaginary sister?
Yeah.
What would you guys have been competitive about?
I don't know, but I feel like, especially, I guess, growing up and seeing that you and Valentin were always like competitive.
Oh, true.
I would feel like I think we would be pretty competitive.
You don't think that's a boy thing though? You don't think boys are naturally competitive with each other, while girls are more like collective?
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the tomboyish like thing that I'm kind of like, oh, we'd probably behave the same as you guys.
There's no way, because then that would have evened it out. So it would have been a combination of both feminine and masculine energy.
I don't know though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I guess it would. Well, because the way I would see it is that I guess you both would be young.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's one older guy and one older sister, and then the other two are younger.
Would you have rather had an older sister or a younger sister?
Maybe a younger sister.
Okay.
Do you like Julia? Do you like being an older sister?
An older sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I feel like you know, I don't know if you guys have ever heard when they're like, oh, especially when you're the only girl, you're the oldest like girl, and
Yeah.
like you're kind of like the your parents treat you kind of like you're the mom of the family, kind of in that way of like, because you're the oldest, and for me, I'm the only child, like the only like girl. So it's like I'm all of those things because I'm the only girl.
Really? You
Yeah.
feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
But you never did anything for me.
Wow, that's crazy.
You never bought me food.
What?
You never took me on trips.
I mean, she gets stuff for you now.
Yeah. Well, now she does. Yeah. Now
Well,
she
because
does.
back then I didn't have a job and we're only 2 years apart.
That's why I'm like, I felt like our older brother was more of like he bought us stuff.
well,
and would
yeah,
take us stuff.
because he had
I mean,
a job
he's got
since
10
like
years on you though.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he started going to work when he was like 16.
Yeah.
I didn't start going to work until like I was like 20.
Yeah.
So like I didn't I didn't have anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like Julie gets cool stuff for you and us. I feel like Dodger tickets, the Clipper stuff. That's cool shit.
But how come you never held my hand while we were on like museum runs or some shit?
Museum
Museum
runs.
runs?
Yeah.
When?
No, that's why.
We
We never went on museum. He's like, we never went there. It's like that's
I feel
no,
like
but
you guys-
I'm
I feel like
more
you guys hang out a
I'm
lot.
more talking about like my parents. Like I'm not talking about like I guess you. I'm talking more
yeah.
about like I felt because it's like the older sister.
Uh-huh.
I forget. I don't know what to call it, but it's like the older sister, and it's kind of like because well, yeah, I'm not the oldest out of the three of us, but I get treated like the older sister of like having all the responsibilities in the house. That's what I
Oh.
meant.
Okay. I guess I
Interesting.
can see that. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you meant it more of like you were like my mom, but I'm like she was
No.
like my sister, bro.
Yeah.
She was like my twin, bro.
She's like a sister to you?
Yeah, she was like a sister to me, bro. We
No.
were like twins, that us. Like we would do
Yeah.
everything together. Yeah, and that's how I was like, what? You were like basically like a mirror version of me.
No,
I
I
feel
was
like that's
I was
good,
more
though.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's a negative thing.
Yeah, I was more saying about like our parents. Like
Mhm.
that's how
Yeah.
I felt, at least growing up. And that's
Mhm.
why I think for me, I always was like, I wish I had another sister just so that like not everything was directed towards me. So I was like, okay.
Do you
But
think that's like a cultural thing, or do you think that's specific to our family?
I think that's a cultural thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like I hear it with other people and like I see it online sometimes when people talk about it and they're like, because especially you're the only girl in the family, you get the older sister responsibilities when you're like you're not even the older sister, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, but then yeah, sometimes I was like, I was fine. I was fine just being on my own, being like, I think that's why sometimes I think about like whether I wanted an older sister or a younger sister. I think I only say young because I'm used to like you. But sometimes I do think that I want an older sister just so that like I at least had someone to kind of teach me how to be a woman, I guess. Like I think it's hard sometimes talking about certain things with mom because she's mom. So then I wish that there was like I had I guess a mentor, like an older sister to kind of like show me like different things about what my body's gonna go through or like different emotions that I'm gonna go through. I think that would have been nice, but
because I think that's pretty real. Because I think I even feel that way with our dad, and even though I love our dad, I feel like for me I always equated it to maybe it was the cultural differences. Because I imagined like me becoming like a teenager, being like 16, 17, or 18, and in an American high school is like, well, my dad didn't go to American high school, and he barely went to school to begin with. I mean, he did obviously eventually graduate, but like if I was like when thinking of myself when I was in high school, thinking about like dating or like I don't know, fucking Fortnite or some shit, right? It's like, Dad, all my friends have like PS4 and I have the Xbox. Like, what do I do? You know, I feel so isolated. Like those are like such like niche, like unique American problems. So I understand that like wanting that older because I had Valentin at least. So I understand that too. But I think a lot of people probably go through that, the cultural aspect of like not being able to ask for advice from your parents because they're like first generation like immigrant parents. So I don't think you're alone in that sense.
Well,
then, go ahead.
No, yeah, because I was thinking because I was watching Gilmore Girls yesterday. I was just watching like the first episode, and I remember I was like, at least from what I remember from the series is that they're always really close. And I think from what I remember, the mom had her really young. So they kind of both grew up kind of together. I think she had her when she was like maybe like 15 or 16 or something. I know she had her really young. And I remember just like watching it and I was like, they're really close, but I was like, it makes sense for them in a weird way. It makes sense for them just because they're culturally like the same. Like they grew up the same. Like it, like, yeah, like for our parents grew up in Mexico. And like the dynamic of here is so different of like what they culturally like saw in the environment that they grew up in. And I think that's why I guess for us, it's a little harder to kind of like go to them for stuff. Cause it's like, we know that they grew up differently. And like, it's also hard to kind of, I guess, translate all that to them when like, I don't know. I think that's what I found so difficult is to kind of like translate, I guess, the way I was feeling and everything to them. Because of the fact that they grew up differently.
I think that's why in like a lot of like Latino or whatever you want to say, like Mexican, Salvadorian, whatever you want to say, like I think in the family dynamic, I think that's why the older sibling becomes like a second parent. Because if they have like younger siblings, then it's like, well, I can't really relate to the situation to my mom or my dad. But maybe my older sibling went through something similar. And I can ask them like, oh, like, what do you feel about this? I mean, you helped me in that aspect, even though it wasn't even a gender thing. But it was more like academic wise. Like it was like things that I was like, what's FAFSA? Like, bro, what is FAFSA? Even to this day, like, what the fuck is FAFSA? Like I barely understood that. I was like scared I was going to go to jail, bro. Because like I was going to get something wrong. Did you have that?
Yeah. Even when I do my taxes, bro. When I do my taxes, it triggers me of the times when I used to do FAFSA because I had like I had no idea how to do FAFSA. I remember there was a specific word that like I could never translate for like the life of me, and like I would always ask my parents like, oh, do you guys have this? And I would say it in English, and they're like, we don't know what that is. And I was like, no, this, like, it's this. Look, just read it. And sometimes I'd be like, I hope just them reading it, they understand it.
It'd be like Papi looking at it like, these are words.
Yeah. No, yeah. But I always struggled in that one. But I mean, it was cool. I mean, I feel like I do remember us, like the three of us, always just going to like different places, like. Especially our older brother would take us to like Universal and like.
Bro, that's crazy. Like that's exactly what I was thinking too.
There's a video that I always like watching. It's us going to Six Flags, and I think you guys are either playing like the Batman song or something.
Yeah, it's the Batman one.
In the car, and they're like blasting it. And then we're like turning into like the Six Flags like parking lot, so you start seeing like the first end of like all the roller coasters. And then I'm recording it, and then you just hear the song, and then you just hear my brother yelling. He's like, ah.
Yeah, my brother was good at the fucking like strong ass yells, random ass like guttural fucking yells that he would just let out. But I mean, speaking of family, it relates to my topic for this week. Whoa,
What?
It does. It really does. Yeah, that's where I was trying to lead you, Julie. I was trying to lead you down that path,
Damn.
and then
He was leading me.
I know.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I was puppeteering you, bro.
He was using me.
Even
He
when
was
it's not his topic, it becomes his topic.
All right, you know what? After my topic, I'm not gonna fucking talk all fucking podcast.
He's gonna sandbag us.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, that's a problem for sure.
Wow.
I agree.
He
I'm
shows.
just kidding.
He shows.
I'm just kidding.
When it's not his topic, he doesn't show interest.
I'm just kidding. All right, fine. You know what? I'll be super enthusiastic with you guys' topics.
All right.
But
No fucking way, bro.
are you fucking serious?
way.
You're pulling. I was gonna say something else. You're pulling my leg.
You're pulling my chain, dog.
Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was names, because because it relates. Because I always think about how like our family names are so interesting. Because I was thinking about our nephew's name, and I was like, he has such a beautiful name. So I'm gonna start with a little background. I've said this story on the podcast before, maybe like once or twice, but just in case for all the new listeners. So when I was born, my family had a fear that if they didn't give me a white name, I wouldn't go as far as I could in life. So when I was born, they named me Steve, because being immigrants from Mexico, they really had this belief that a white sounding name was going to make me succeed in my future. And so more than 2 decades later, I wanted to see how valid my parents' fears really were. And so I found some really interesting things. In 2003, just a few years after I was born, a study was published. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but the study was called, "Are Emily and Greg more employable than Lakeisha and Jamal?" Yeah. And basically the experiment said that what they did is they manipulated the perception of race by each resume being assigned a very African American sounding name, and then another group of like, I think it was 26,000 white sounding names. And the results showed a significant discrimination against African American names. White names received 50% more callbacks for interviews. So at the time, my parents' fears were very valid. I mean, the year that study was published in 2003 was just a few years after I was born. But that was 20 years ago. So I was like, has that changed since then? And actually, the experiment was recreated in 2021. So economists from the University of California, Berkeley, and the University of Chicago sent 83,000 job applicants to 108 Fortune 500 employers, half with traditionally white-sounding names and the other half with distinctive black-sounding names. Applicants with black names were called back 10% fewer times across the board, and even less when it came to specific companies, despite having comparable applications to their white counterparts. But it doesn't even stop there, because I figured like, well, obviously that's the black community. I want to see if maybe like our community of listeners, Latinos, if they face any discrimination too. So I dove even deeper, and I found a recent study found that U.S. housing provides less likely to respond to applicants with Latino-sounding names when renting properties. So is this basically just to say that renters with black and Latino-sounding names faced increased discrimination? In the largest study of its kind to date, researchers created a fictitious renter profiles with names commonly associated with white, African Americans, and Hispanic identities. They tracked more than 25,000 intercations between these profiles and property managers in 50 of the largest U.S. cities. The results? Renters with white-sounding names received a response from housing providers 60% of the time, while those with black-sounding names only perceived 44% response rate. Additionally, Hispanic renters received a 47% response rate. So the good news is we've made a lot of progress. The bad news is that we still have a long way to go. And I dove even deeper as to like what does a name even do for you in life? And some research has shown that your name can sometimes even project what you're going to do in life. So people who are named Peter are often more likely to succeed in like a business field. In fact, Peter is the most common name for a CEO in the United States. And it's basically just like this like deep dive of like names. There's even a YouTube channel that I found where it's called like name. I think it's called a nameism. It's literally a whole YouTube channel dedicated to like just topics about names. And but it goes to show you that like your name is important to like what you will succeed in life. Julie, I wanted to bring this up to you because I felt like you specifically not only have a unique name in Jalissa, but you're also an Issa, which can be like associated with, you know, like Shaquisha, like, I don't know, Sharkeisha. You have like the Issa in your name. Have you ever felt like you were discriminated because of your name?
I think the only time that I felt like my name was an issue was just in class. When they would like call out names and they never knew how to like pronounce my name. Like at all. Like it felt like it was like super complicated.
Yeah.
When, at least to me, it felt like it was never really that complicated. If it has like affected me, I guess personally, personally, I don't know. I feel like
you're like, no wonder I didn't get that fucking call back. Maybe.
I mean, there are times when I do feel that like certain jobs I don't get because of the way that I look. And I think that's just like, and I mostly just mean that through like, I guess my piercings, because for the most part they always just see like my face first.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the name is already like a starter where they're like, maybe we'll like think about it or something. Yeah. And I don't know if once they see me, it's like a more like, maybe we won't because it doesn't look professional or something.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way I sometimes feel like I get a little discriminated by, but I can't say that it has affected me
because it's not like you're like omnipotent, right? Like you can't really see like
like I can't
you can't see the people who hold up your resume and be like, nah.
Yeah, like I don't get told, but I do get I feel like sometimes I get the sense of that's the vibe where like I feel, and I don't know if that's just me, because I mean I also haven't had like, I mostly talk about like my septum, like I haven't had that for a good while, but I feel like sometimes that is like the thing that kind of people get to judge me for. Like I think that's the first thing that people notice. At least that's what I think, but I think that's just like my own, I always sometimes want to say like that's my own, I guess, insecurity in a way. But
do you like your name?
My name?
Yeah, do you like your name?
I like my name. I mean, I like it in the fact that like it has like different changes where I can say it in like an English accent, and then I can say it in a Spanish accent, and then I have like my short name, which everyone knows is Julie. And I like that because I spell it with just July, and I know that some people would say that's July, but in Spanish like the Y makes an E, so to me that's Julie. And I think I like the fact that it's like super unique in that way. I think growing up at first, I think I didn't like it because like people always misspelled it and people always mispronounced it. And I think that's why for a while I always wanted people to just call me Julie. But then eventually, there was like this conversation that we were in Mexico, and I had met this guy, and he really wanted to be my friend, and I was like, okay, we'll be friends or whatever. And he was more interested in the fact that I knew how to read like English. And so he was like, I was like reading them or whatever. And he's like, you can read English? And I was like, yeah, like, oh, I was born, like I grew up like learning it or whatever. And he's like, that's cool. And then he's like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, my name's Jalissa, but people call me Julie. And then one of our tias was there and she's like, yeah, we do it out of like love. She said that. And then I was like, oh, that feels nice. And to me, that's when I kind of realized that mostly like my family only calls me Julie, which is nice. And then everyone else knows me as like Jalissa. So I don't know. I that's when I kind of started like liking my name, and I like it even more now. And that's why like I used to say that I was Jules or Jalissa or Julie, sorry. But now I say Jalissa because I feel like I want people to know like my full name.
Yeah. It's kind of funny too because like it goes to show you, it goes back to what we were talking about before we started my segment about how you and me are almost like twins, or at least I always considered you like a twin. We even have our nicknames that are similar. You're Julie, I'm Steve E.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that we share in that. And Do you have more to say? You have more to share? So there's this thing that I discovered too about names called nominative determinism. Nominative determinism? Yeah, I think that's what it is, right? Just wanted to make sure. Brandon, go ahead. Fact check that. Yeah, nominative determinism. So what that basically is that when every person who is born with a specific name has like societal pressure that's associated with that name. So some examples are like, I think it was Jack. People who are Jack, who are named are Jack, are like expected to do like labor jobs, like because they're like, oh, you're jacked, you know, you're a big guy. And then they often actually do end up doing that job. It's called nominative determinism. So it showed that even people who have like unique names are often more likely to take an artistic route in their life, because there's this association that because you have a unique name, you yourself are a unique individual. So you're like more inclined to do like music or film or become directors. I mean, you think of someone like Quentin Tarantino, right?
Or like John Lennon or something.
Yeah.
It's funny because I feel like I always said, I don't know if this is like selfish, but I always thought I was unique.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
you are, bro.
And I remember Mom told me even the way that she came up with my name, that like the original name is just Julisa, and she said that for herself she wanted to add a Y and another S. So like she was like, oh, like I kind of just like I wanted you to be Julissa, but I didn't want you to like be IS, so she changed it to a Y and then she added an S. And I always thought that was cool that she kind of like did that on her own kind of thing. Because I've seen my name, I just haven't seen it spelled the same as mine. If you're out there, hit me up.
If this is reaching you, it's a sign.
No, but yeah, I've seen people have like Jalissa. It's just usually spelled like with an I for the most part. But yeah, I did grow up thinking that like I was very unique.
I think you're very unique, bro. I think I've never met anybody like you. I'm serious. Brian, what about you, bro? Being all quiet over there. What do you think about your name?
I'm listening to your guys' stories.
Brandon. Did you ever have a nickname?
No.
No, you were.
I've always wanted one, but nobody really gives me one.
I thought I came up with one for
Israel
you.
gave me a couple, and I actually liked them. He said Bimo and Bando, and he says he likes
Bando.
Bimo.
Is cool.
He likes Bimo.
You're slim.
Oh yeah, your nephew calls me Slim for some reason, like Slim Shady. And then Chad would always call me B, but yeah.
I feel like, can I call you Rose?
I remember I wanted to call you Brandy.
Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Brandy the drink.
Brandy.
So I like Brandy the drink. So go ahead.
That's because that's when you're her sister.
Yeah,
that's your sister name.
Okay.
Brandy. I was talking to Brandy the other day. It even sounds like that too. It sounds really well.
Yeah.
But okay, moving on more into the more research that I did.
Yeah.
Did you know that names even trend? I mean, I'm sure you've seen maybe those graphs on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure.
That there's like trends, like Ashley was popular like in the 80s or something. But do you know that if you have a trending name, like a name that's trending right now, people are more likely to be nicer to you and like help you out? Yeah, like kind of like pretty privilege. But if you have an untrending name, you know how some people have names and they're like, oh, that's an old man's name, or like that's like, oh, when I hear that name, I think of an old person.
Like
you know,
like Thomas. Ben. No.
What's Benjamin?
There's one that I'm like
Walter.
Harold.
Walter.
Walter is an old man.
Yeah. I feel like we're just like calling out people. I hope no Walters are watching. I fucking hate
Walter's our biggest fan.
Yeah. But apparently that if you have like the opposite of that, like an untrending name, people not only are like dismissive of you, that they're more likely to be meaner to you.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. That people are more likely to have like a more negative perspective of you. It said in the articles that they're more likely to also think that you have like an unsuccessful life.
What do you? I don't know if I can jump in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about people who name their kids like something interestingly weird? And
like Elon?
I don't even mean like that. Like I sent you that thing like on Instagram where the guy named his kid the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah. And it's not like his name is the Dallas Cowboys.
What?
I guess I didn't watch the whole thing. I was just more like, damn, you named your kid the Dallas Cowboys.
And he's crying in the
well, because it meant a lot to him or something. Yeah.
Wait, the dad is crying about it?
Yeah. Well, but like in like not in a like because he's sad in a way because like
He's just
I gave him
happy.
that name because
It
it
means
means
a
a
lot.
lot to me.
Yeah.
Damn.
So what do you think about that?
I wonder. I think the kid might like
Change his
end up-
name.
and no, he'll just like go through his nickname or some shit.
Well, because you could. I feel like Dallas is a good name. Like,
yeah.
hey Dallas, you know.
Yeah, they even in Germany they did an experiment. Part of my research is they did it with dating apps in 2011. They used like a bunch of like I guess names over there that are trending, and then they used a name that was unfashionable at the time. The name, you know what it was? It was Kevin.
Oh, I thought it was the same.
Adolf. Oh damn! I mean that could
Well,
have
you
worked.
said
too.
Germany, so I was just like,
Come on, bro. They don't live and breathe World War II. But I get you. That's a good one.
Yeah.
They should have.
You said untrending. So.
You know how I was talking about that channel that's
Yeah.
like all about names?
Yeah.
One of their most watched videos is like, are there any Adolfs left?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like one
Well,
of their names.
I
Well,
know
'cause I
I
would-
known people named Adolfo.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
Well, because I would assume that because some people actually like admired him. I feel like there would be at least some.
I
who named
remember.
him after them.
Yikes.
I remember in.
I was named after Hitler.
I remember in high school we watched this thing about like how this couple who were Nazis, they named their kid Adolf, but the whole thing. I don't want to
Oh,
take it down
really?
from YouTube. That's what I'm gonna say.
No, I don't
But-
think it's historical, right?
Oh yeah, but anyways, I think the government or whatever made them change it, and I think they were like,
Oh,
I
shit,
think they were
really?
taking the kid or something like that.
Damn.
And the reason we
They
watched
were
it,
they kidnapped the kid?
well, because I think they were arguing that like if you're a Nazi, then you're like it's like abuse or some shit like that. But I remember we were watching it in high school because I think the teacher was like trying to get us to debate,
Yeah.
be like, oh, is this freedom of speech, like that kind of shit.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, I don't know, I thought that was interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Damn.
What do you think? Sidetrack. Do you think they should be allowed to do that? If a couple named their kid like Adolf Bleep? I think I can say Hitler. I think I can say Hitler. I don't think
don't
YouTube
know.
will take us down.
Will they?
I don't know. Okay, Adolf Bleep. Adolf Bleep.
I mean, I feel like in that instance, I'm kind of like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty evil. Like that's pretty fucked up to be like that and to project it onto the kid.
Yeah.
If you want to change your own name and be like that, whatever, man. Just don't. I don't want to know you.
Yeah.
But like to put it on the kid, I feel like that's fucked up. No.
Well, yeah, it's fucked up in my perspective. But I imagine if you're an admirer of that guy, I imagine you see him as like a powerful figure who was trying to do right. It's the equivalent of somebody naming their kid Jesus,
Yeah.
like because they think Jesus is an amazing person.
No, yeah, that's what people were talking about. But I guess for me, my tolerance only goes so far. I'd be like, nah, man.
Come
you're
on.
I
tripping.
feel like especially I think for that it's different because knowing like the history and
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
bad that shit was.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah, true.
I think I feel like it would be also bad for the child, like them growing up and like having that. And it's kind of like they have I guess they're carrying on that history with them with their name.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would
Yeah.
be sad for the kid.
Yeah.
Because he also didn't have a choice. Like
Well, I mean, the more you learn about it, the more you kind of feel like your names almost give you like a destiny. Because like the more you figure out that like
that's true. That I think that's true. Like if you named a kid Adolf, I feel like if you grew up with that name, even if you were like a good person deep down, you'd be like, damn, I like evil. You know what I mean? Because it has
Yeah.
that connotation.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Because I remember there's it's a weird sidetrack, but there's this guy. He's like one of those bear whisperer guys, where he has a bear and he's like an environmentalist guy. His name's Casey or whatever, and he has a bear named Brutus. And he always talks about how people are always like, should you have named a bear that? Because like the Brutus and Caesar, like is the bear gonna kill you? And I thought that was interesting. I just thought it was like weirdly deep because he was like, yeah, like I think about that a lot. But he was like, because Casey, Caesar,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
it happens, bro. Doing the research, like it's nominative determinism. It's not that like there's this like spiritual energy that
Yeah, I
like
get what you mean.
you name a guy, I don't know, like trash man.
Trash
Like
boat.
he's gonna grow up to be like a garbage guy.
Yeah.
But he'll more likely be like, you know what? Like, I think that one of the things they mentioned too is that if the letter of like your name that it starts with is also what city you're more likely to move to. So somebody whose like name is like Jake, they'll want to move to Jacksonville because it'll be like,
So where would
Jake
you-
from
Where
Jacksonville.
would you guys go to?
Steve from
San Francisco.
Seattle.
San Francisco?
Oh,
Seattle?
yeah, San Francisco.
I don't know where the J's at.
New Jersey?
New Jersey.
Joyzy? I feel like
Jersey?
you have Joyzy energy.
Jersey.
You do have New Jersey energy.
Joyzy energy.
You give me
I
Jersey
moved to New
energy.
York.
Yeah.
I've never been, but I always get the feeling that sometimes if I do go, I'm probably gonna fall in love with it.
Where would I go? Burbank?
Burbank? It's almost like
No, I don't know.
they're
I was gonna say you're gonna come to Brooklyn with me.
Brooklyn. Damn.
Oh,
Brooklyn.
and did you know that you're also more likely to marry somebody whose last name is similar to yours? So it's strongest. They saw it most likely with people who have last names that start with M, P, T, and K.
So you guys are gonna marry somebody with an M,
Yeah, with an M on as their last name.
or that sounds like what
Yeah,
your
or
last name
sounds
is?
similar. Statistically that's true.
So I'm going in the wrong route or what?
No, I don't know. Bro, it's statistics.
You
You know?
could be the outlier.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's not like every.
I mean, just flip it and it
Yeah, definitely.
and it
And it works?
corresponds. Yeah,
for your boyfriend.
yeah.
Really?
It's a M and then a W.
I don't know. At that point, it's like astrology where
Flip
it's
it.
like
It's
too
like-
much.
So his name's like Walter White. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, did I finish talking about the Kevin thing?
No.
No.
Oh yeah. So it was just like they did like an experiment on dating apps,
Mhm.
and people who had unfashionable names at the time were more likely to be rejected as compared to people with trending names at the time. Like in Germany, it was Alexander.
Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander.
Wait,
So-
if you had the name Alexander, you
Which was a trending name at the time.
okay.
You were more likely to get matches, but if you had a name that was unfashionable, like Kevin, you're more likely to be rejected. So it's weird because I started thinking about kids, like when people have kids, and it's like, then it's like, damn, like I would like be sweating, bro. Like, damn. So would I name my kid? Like, I could ruin his life if I name him like.
yeah.
I name him
Crazy.
Osama.
Well, I'm sure Osama,
Bro.
Wow.
Okay,
The
now we're getting
intrusive
put
thoughts of
down.
No, I didn't say the last name. No.
I feel like it's interesting because I'm sure you could probably name his kid something like really cool, and they would be like, "Damn, I can't live up to that." You know?
Quentin Tarantino. When you're born with a name like that, I feel like you gotta
that's
be
his
like.
first name, Quentin.
Yeah.
But would you say that their actions make the name cool too? Though.
Yeah, I mean, definitely too. I actually saw Quentin Tarantino's mom had like an autobiography, and she wrote about naming why she named him Quentin. So she originally wanted to name him Quinn, but if it was a girl, but then I think when she found out he was a boy, he was like, "Well, I can't name him Quinn now." And at the time, she was reading this book about like this old cowboy, and in the book, the cowboy's name is Quentin. So he was like, "Oh my God,
That's a cool
Quentin
name.
Tarantino." And that's how he got named. So he was like named after like this like outlaw. And I'm like, bro, well,
cool.
I mean, like
That's cool.
with a name like that, how do you not succeed?
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like it fits you so well.
I feel like a name like John Lennon. I feel like let's say he became nothing and he was just like let's say he just wasn't a star.
Yeah.
Like he just was like a regular guy.
Mhm.
I feel like I could see that name not seeming as special. You can call him like John
Yeah.
Lemon
John Lemon.
because he sounds like lemon. I don't know. So I don't know.
Maybe.
But no, you're right about.
So
Quentin
now I have
Tarantino.
to rethink my children's names. I already had them.
Oh, your
I
dad.
mean,
That's crazy.
I don't know. I think for me, what I get out of all this is that I think it's always mind over matter. Because
Yeah.
like there's no like spiritual energy in the universe that once you name somebody something that they are gonna become what they are,
Yeah.
right?
like in
I think-
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's because we were talking about destiny last time, but I just mean like in the sense of these guys get that job. Jack becomes a lumberjack, or what's another like and like synonym for somebody's name? Norman becomes like
normal guy.
a normal guy,
Normal guy because he's just a normal guy.
I'm dead.
or like there's another one. Oh, Dennis. This is actually a real one that I saw.
Is like a
Dentist.
a
Did you know that like Dennis is like one of the most common names of people who become like dentists?
Really?
Yeah, so I'm telling you, yeah, like
Really?
I thought you were-
I thought you were gonna say that they become like troublemakers, like
I
Dennis
thought-
the Menace.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
no, Dennis the dentist.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Dennis, Dennis the Menace.
No, but
Dennis
it's
the
yeah,
Menace.
a
That
lot of
reminds
people
me
in
of
the
that reminds me of Rocky. No, not Rocky Picture Show. What Little Shop of Horrors? Because you know how the dentist is like a fucking a bad guy.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the Dennis the Menace is like I want to torture people, so he becomes a dentist.
Maybe.
Did we just figure some shit out? No, but
Well, I think maybe it is that like growing up, you hear it like if your name is Jack and like oh, they're like, oh, you're like a lumberjack.
Yeah.
And I think people just are like saying it to you that you're kind of like, okay, like maybe I should be a lumberjack.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
You know.
It literally, I wrote in my notes, the societal pressure of living up to your name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But it goes to show you that it's mind over matter. You only believe that because that's what people have told you something so often that that's what you believe, and your belief becomes a reality. So
Interesting.
it's just to say that, like, no matter what you name your kids, as long as they believe that they can succeed, then they will.
Yeah.
You know?
Kind of
and-
like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, just instill
Not
it.
Forrest
Yeah.
Gump.
Well, because remember he's named after the
KKK leader,
KKK
right?
leader, but she's like,
Oh, we're gonna get taken down.
it's history though.
I know it is history. Yeah, go ahead.
But remember he's named
You already
after.
said like 3 chicken
Yeah,
words.
he's named after that, and his mom is like, because I wanted you to become good, or like to. It was to show like to rewrite the history of that name or something like that, because he's related to the guy or some shit. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
Bro, look at this. Yeah, so I wrote this in my notes too. The daters with this is still the German experiment with the dating apps. The daters with unfashionable names who were rejected more often also tended to be less educated and have lower self-esteem, almost as if the rejection they experienced on the dating platform were a reflection of how they fared in life more generally.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I guess when you read stuff like that, it does kind of make you like, as if you were a parent, like, oh man, like, I don't want my kid to be a loser.
Yeah.
I don't want him to like lose out on life.
So is that why Leonardo DiCaprio became an actor? Because he sounds like Leonardo da Vinci. So it's like,
I really
Maybe.
do. I really do
so it's
think.
like, oh, you're destined to be great.
I remember
great
I used to
artist.
call him Leonardo da Vinci. I was like, that's Da Vinci, bro.
Yeah. And then my final note, having a rare name was associated with increased odds of having a more unusual career, such as film director or judge. Kind of how some people would say that
like Judge Judy?
Jalissa has a unique name.
Like Judge
And she's
Judy?
doing something
I
artistic.
did weirdly like fall into it.
You wanted to
All of these things.
you wanted to become a lawyer?
But my name
No.
is me, bro. Brandon, you and me have Steve and Brandon. Brandon. I'm trying. What rhymes with Brandon, or what's like a B? Brandon. The builder.
I guess.
Brandon
And
the
you
Builder.
build topics for the. Nah,
Oh,
you're reaching.
Bob.
I feel like
Reach.
Brandon doesn't have a lot of connotations, right?
I feel like for Steve, growing up, for me, whenever I thought of my name and I thought of people who had my name, I thought they gave main character energy.
I think
like Steven
Steve-
Spielberg
I think
or Steve from Minecraft.
I think Steve gives me like the everyman. Like, you know, it's Steve, you know?
like I'm yeah, like I'm
At the-
happy
at-
go lucky.
When he put the thumb at the ding. Bing.
Ding. Yeah.
Yeah, or like Steve from Blue's Clues. So I always felt like I embodied that kind of
Oh,
energy.
so Stevie's the main character?
Yeah.
Oh my!
That's
Everybody is the main character of their own lives.
Mm.
Don't make me feel guilty for putting myself first.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways. Nah, just kidding.
Nah.
Well, people, well, because for you, people would also say that you're Steven, no?
Yeah, I hate it when
Like,
people call me
yeah.
Steven. It's
I'm
so
like-
name. It's such a simple name.
I'm like, y'all for real be adding a
Well,
couple
I
letters?
think people just assume like
Because
maybe
there was
that's
just
his name.
Steve.
No, but I think people assume it's probably a little. There's a little racial.
oh,
Oh,
because
'cause-
Stefan.
Well,
No,
because people
'cause-
probably assume your name is Esteban.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know?
people would
Or
say
Esteban,
sometimes
you know?
Esteban.
Esteban. But
Or like when we were at school, bro, and our teacher, what did she call me? She called me like Pedro or some shit. Do you
Juan?
remember?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Jose?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, it was Jose, right?
Yeah, it was something like that. She was like, I asked her a question, and she was like, "Oh, that's a good question. You should compare with like Jose over here." And he, and I was like, "Whoa,
Bro, that was crazy.
Did you say that my name is Steve?
Yeah, I did say I was like, my name is Steve, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's because you all look the same." But she might as well have
Well,
said
it's
that.
because there was a Jose in the class,
Uh-huh.
and like
And
was
she
like,
said we
I
looked
could-
similar.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Did
And
you
we
guys-
sat around the same area.
Did you guys look similar?
I don't know. It was a
think
big
so.
class. It was like like one of those like big lecture classes where there's like
Yeah.
over 100 students.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Damn.
No, I mean honestly, she was cool. So
Yeah,
I
she
hope
was
I hope
cool.
it wasn't
I
racially motivated.
genuinely do think it was like an unfortunate accident, because there was another guy who sat in that row, and they were like, you know, they would always be like, oh, blah 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 blah, yep.
They'd always be
They'd
yapping.
always be yapping.
Excuse you.
They'd always be yapping
Yeah,
in that
so
class.
yeah.
No, yeah, but I guess just moving it back to
Talk too
Yeah, that's why it made me sad because I was talking to my mom about it yesterday, just to like reiterate the story of like when I was born, why they named me Steve, and my mom was even like, "Yeah, I didn't even want to name you Steve because like I can't even say Steve," and it's true. She can't pronounce Steve.
So then whose idea was it? Your dad?
It was like my mom, my brother and my dad's. They were like, Steve, it's perfect.
Steve.
Well, because they were gonna name you what, Jason?
Yeah. My original name was gonna be Jason. My brother wanted,
Like,
but my mom didn't like how it sounded in Spanish. She like, how do you say it?
Hassan.
Hassan.
No, I don't think so. It's like something completely like not even close.
Jason?
Like Jason
Yeah.
Voorhees?
Yeah,
Is there really?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Jason.
Fact checked it.
Would she have spelled it
Jeronimo?
like Jeronimo? Would she have spelled it like with Julie's, where it would have be like JAYSON?
It looks the same. Hassan.
Hassan.
I'm telling you,
Jason.
Hassan. No?
Wouldn't it be
My
just Jason?
mom when she said it yesterday, she said it. She like fucking said like this like.
Jason.
She might as well have been speaking Nahuatl, bro. Like I was like, what? Like that's how you say it in Spanish? She was like, yeah, I don't like how it
Really?
sounded. Deadass. She said,
Did you look it up?
yeah, it just looks. It's just Jason with an accent on the O.
Jason.
That's something like
So it would have been
Hassan.
like Jason or some shit.
Hassan.
I feel like that's funny. It actually doesn't sound good.
Well,
as funny.
because for me, they're
Yeah.
always like Julisa.
Julissa.
Julissa.
Julisa.
Hey, I fuck with it.
Julissa.
Julisa. Because the J.
Hassan.
Hassan. Well, because the J in Spanish is
Ja,
an
ja, 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 ja.
H.
Ja, 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 ja. That's why they write ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when the internet first was coming up, and I saw that's how people in Mexico write ha ha ha. They put a J. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's so funny, but it almost seems like a joke.
Ja, 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 ja.
Yeah, but that was pretty much my segment for this week, guys. I'm not gonna go anymore because I'm trying to get better at managing my time. I don't want to take over the episode.
Before we go on though, I have a question.
Oh my god, what's the question?
¿Cómo se dice sponsored?
Patrocinado.
Very good, Julie.
You know, really quick, side note, I'm sorry. I read in the comments. Shout out to you. I don't remember your username. They said that that's not how you say it.
What
I
they
don't
say?
know. I heard somebody actually say it. The
Yeah,
other
I
day.
also saw another comment that said.
Hey,
that
then
it
fuck
was-
you. Then I'm just kidding.
Come on, man! No cursing during the.
Oh, sorry.
The
Yeah, yeah.
sponsor.
Damn.
Censor it.
I always have to censor him. Okay, I'll redo it. I have a question. ¿Cómo se dice sponsored?
Patrocinado.
Very good, Julie. That's right, guys. The Todo Chido podcast is now sponsored by Yo Sabo the Game.
I blame Stevie.
Wow, no way. Yo Sabo the Game is the new Latino card game for your next family game night. You could test out your Spanish, answer trivia, and even win some fun challenges. But better yet, Yo Sabo the Game is a small business that is ran by 3 Mexican Americans who just wanted to practice their Spanish but ended up creating a new fun way to do so. So make sure to check this game out. And there it is.
You can purchase your own copy at yosabothegame.com. They can also be found at all social media platforms under the username yosabo_the_game. They also sent us some new additions that Steve and Brennan are holding.
Yeah, they sent us
Ooh, look at
25 additional game cards.
What's it called?
This one's called Noches Embrujados. I'm guessing it's Halloween themed, which is kind of
Ooh,
cool.
spooky.
Yeah. This one is Sana Sana Colita de Rana.
I really like the packaging. I almost don't want to open it.
I almost
but
want to take a bite out of it.
It's
Just
like
me?
trading cards, you know.
But thank you to Yo Sabo the Game for sponsoring the podcast. We are going to be playing it at the end of the show.
So stay tuned.
So stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you to the people at Yo Sabo. They treat us so well.
Yeah, they do.
Um,
Shout out to Yo Sabo, really, like for us. I love them. I always have love for them.
Okay, so if patrocinado is not the right translation, then what is it?
I don't know, bro. Ask
Well,
them.
you know what?
Then why did they say
you know
it?
what?
Why would they say
people,
it?
People
No,
at
no,
Yo
no.
Sabo, I'm throwing out the challenge to you guys. You guys got to make a card that says sponsorship, like so that we know.
Yeah, so that we know the true
So that we know.
definition.
Well, because I'm like, if they're telling us that it's wrong, then give us the right translation.
The people in the comments?
Damn.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, call them out.
Help us
bro.
out.
She said, let me show off my Spanish. She specifically said that.
Let me
So,
show my
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah. So, but she didn't put in the word, so I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah, she's just lying.
No, because
No, but I love you for commenting.
Yeah,
Thank
I do.
you.
No, yeah. Because the other day I was hanging out with this group and he was saying patrocinado. He was like patrocinado by blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's.
Wow.
I thought that I was like, he said it. I'm guessing that like sponsored is.
Hey, bro, I
patrocinado.
don't know.
But anyways, they're sponsored by Yo Sabo. Hey.
Hey. Colita de rana.
Sala, colita de rana. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I can I say the full thing because
Yeah.
they say something else at the end. They don't just say that, but it's okay. I'll
What
say
are they
it.
saying?
What you're talking about the TikTok audio, no?
Yeah.
They say sana colita de rana, bitch. No,
Oh,
Really?
they do? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I've never heard
I
that
didn't hear
I
that.
thought that's what you were talking about.
I'm talking about a
The
song.
TikTok audio, no?
The song, yeah.
The actual one.
Oh, the actual one. Oh, okay. Never mind. I
No.
thought you were talking about the TikTok audio.
I think it's the song.
I'm
That's
tripping
the
then,
one
tripping.
that's the one
tripping
I'm
then.
thinking.
Yeah,
of.
I'm tripping then.
I don't know.
I'm thinking about the.
I don't know if we're
TikTok
thinking.
audio.
I wonder if we are thinking about the same thing.
They say bitch at the end,
But I just don't hear the word bitch at the end.
they say it though.
Sana colita. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, and then she says bitch at the end.
Oh.
Sana colita de rana, bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I just like.
You blank it
Oh,
out. Oh, you
yeah.
because you're very innocent, Catholic,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
good girl.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. But
Okay.
Brandon, what'd you bring for this week's episode?
You know, I was thinking about it as you guys were talking about how like, damn, is this topic gonna get us taken down? Well, I guess you'll see.
what? Okay. good.
Well, before I talk about it, this is for educational purposes only. So now they can't take us down. Got him.
Nice.
Got him.
Got him.
Okay.
Got him. So I think this is why it entered my head, and we talked about this on Primos Chilos. So I was like, and I thought it was a good topic, so I thought I'd bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
There's this video. I don't know if you guys seen it. It was on TikTok, and I watched it again yesterday. It's like it's from the perspective of one of those Ring cameras. It's these two people who are trying to like break into a house, and the guy's like donkey kicking the door.
Yeah.
And like after like a second, somebody from inside fires like a gun at them, and you can see like a bunch of bullet holes. I think it misses them. I never.
Yeah.
The video ends right after that.
Yeah.
But I always find that concept interesting of like owning a gun, and I asked you guys on Primos Chilos, which is like I guess over a year ago,
Yeah.
what your guys' opinions on having a gun was, and I was wondering if that opinion has changed.
I don't even remember what my opinion used to be.
I feel like this was my opinion. I'm not sure if it's changed, but this is still my opinion. I personally feel as though excuse more minorities having guns than like any other like group.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because I look at historical context of police and like a lot of communities that needed to protect their own. A lot of the laws too are like prejudice against like minorities
Yeah.
or people of color. And because of that, I feel like I excuse it more and I allow it more. And I feel like for somebody like me or for people of my background, I feel like I'm okay with people having guns just because of that historical context that back in the day, and even to this day, a lot of cops have a lot of prejudices towards our communities. And sometimes it had to have been up to us to protect like our own people. And because of that, I always feel like I am pro that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I guess to focus the question a little more, because I think there's a lot of like questions. You can go the broader aspect, which I'm not gonna go into, about like gun control in general. You can go the like you mean having a gun in your home, but I was more thinking about having a gun on your person, like
Like
Oh, you mean
carrying
like
it
carrying
around.
a gun like generally all the time, whether it's like on you or like it's in your
Yeah.
car or it's like, and I don't mean like, I mean like going the legal route of like having
Yeah.
a concealed carry permit. What are you guys' opinions on that? Like, would that make you feel uncomfortable if you were hanging out with the person who like always had a gun on them? It was licensed and they had
Yeah.
all the proper paperwork, but they always had it. Like,
I feel like me personally, I would be a little panicked by it just because I feel like, I don't know if it's the fact that I just didn't grow up seeing it that much and I always saw it in more of a negative like connotation. Like I've always seen guns as being negative. And I think if I were to know someone who's always constantly carrying it, I feel like I'd always have this fear that it's kind of like this type of like energy that they're kind of like holding around that
inviting,
like,
right?
yeah, they're like inviting like that negative energy that someday or at some point something's gonna happen and they're gonna have to use it. I feel like that's kind of like my own mindset of like me just being scared overall with just guns, because I feel like they're very intimidating to me. Like I feel like just seeing one and like just seeing one in general, I think for me would kind of freak me out. Like I wouldn't like have like this whole thing, but like internally I'd be like, fuck, like they have a gun. Like it would kind of like freak me out a little bit. But that's just me, like personally, I think. I mean it's also like, I guess to their own, and like I guess also trusting them that they've like done their own training, they know how to use it and stuff, and like all that.
Yeah.
But I think just me, if I just saw one, I think I would kind of like internally kind of like be a little scared.
Would you ever date a guy who always carried a gun on him?
I don't know. That's hard. Because I feel like, again, like I think it's just me thinking that they're kind of carrying like a negative
They're walking
energy.
yeah.
Like they're kind of inviting that. And I did hear that once. Because I asked a guy that I was dating before, and I'd be like, "Oh, would you ever like carry one?" And that's what he said too. He's like, "I don't want to carry this sort of like energy or inviting like this energy that like something's gonna happen."
Yeah.
Would I date him? I mean, I would just express that I'm kind of like, I'm scared that you're always carrying it around, and like I guess I would talk to him about my fears of like, I just feel like I've always seen it in just such a negative
connotation.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
it is like pretty negatively.
Yeah.
There's not really like a very friendly like use for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's not like I guess because like I carry a pocket knife all the time, and I feel like, yeah, that's a weapon, but I feel like I use it a lot in like a tool sense.
Yeah.
You know, like you guys see me like, oh,
Yeah,
can you
true.
open this, bro? Can you use your knife? Or like, you know, I feel like it's pretty handy.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But a gun, it's like, bro, can you shoot the lock or whatever? You know, what are you gonna say to me? You know?
Well, I guess because it's like, I guess also with a gun, it's more like, it's always just associated with like death.
Yeah.
Or it's like,
Yeah.
if you use it, you're likely to like kill someone with
Yeah.
it, you know? Like, yeah, you can injure them, but you're also more likely to kill them.
Well, yeah, that's what it's for,
And
to
like,
kill. Right?
yeah, and that's why like I think that's the part I guess that freaks me out the most, is that I get it that it's in defense, and I'm not saying that it's wrong either. Like if that's your own thing, like you can have it. But I'm just saying that like I think that's the other part that like is carried negatively, is that like there's likely that one of us is gonna die.
Yeah.
You know, that whether it's like us, like me and like my significant other getting attacked and like he uses it, but like maybe the other person can have one too, or like it's just like that kind of like sense of it.
No, yeah, definitely.
And I think that's why to me it's a little more like I would freak out.
Yeah.
I guess the way I see it is, the reason why I struggle to, I guess, kind of like articulate what I'm trying to say is because I don't want to say that I'm pro gun, because I think pro gun brings this association of the like, you know, like let's have a gun in every classroom or something.
Before we get into that, I just want to say that's not why I brought up the topic to get that. I just always find it, because I think it's one of those things that I think everybody asks themselves at one point, especially women. I think a lot of guys ask, because I remember growing up, everybody being like, "Oh, once I turn 21, I'm gonna get concealed carry." You know, I just think I just think it's interesting hearing everybody's thoughts.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
No,
that's
I mean,
more what I wanted.
No, I feel you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, some of my friends have guns. Yeah. And like I said, I don't want to say pro that, because I think that's just that's a different type of like acceptance. I would just say that like for me personally, I think it's okay, but I understand. I think it becomes a different topic when we talk about conceal and carry.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's something that happens to every person who holds a gun and then walks around. I don't know if it's like, I imagine it's a psychological effect, but it's as if you have this like suit of armor or something where if a situation occurs, you're less afraid, but you're also more inclined to do something more dangerous because you feel like you have this suit of armor. And what I mean by that, I'll give some real life examples. In my life, there's been at least 3 times where I was pulled up on with people who had guns, who pointed their guns at me, or at least flashed their guns at me. And in that situation, I was unarmed. I never had any type of gun. But I imagine if I did have a gun, that fear that I felt wouldn't be as strong.
Yeah.
And if anything, I would feel as though I have something to reply with. I have something to defend myself with. But because of that, something psychological would happen in my brain where I'd be like more inclined to then make a situation that could have just been, okay, well, he respects my space, I respect his space. Clearly he like threatened me, but whatever, we just move on.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't happen. Now because I have the gun, I feel inclined to like, oh, this guy wants to like press me. I'm gonna press back, you know? And I feel like because of that, that's where I'm like conceal and carry kind of like becomes more of a like, I don't agree with that. Yeah. I don't know about walking around with a fucking gun. Because like you said, it's not even just inviting energy. I think what it does to you, like what it psychologically does to you, become a danger to yourself and to other people. Because imagine if I had that gun and I was like, what? I don't know. Like I obviously wouldn't say like, "What's up, homie?" or whatever. Yeah. But like, let's say I was like not afraid and I flashed my own gun, or like I threatened, and then we get into the shooting like spree.
Yeah.
And then maybe my friends get hurt or I get hurt. All of that could have just not happened if like there was no ego boost that the gun brought to me.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what I think like I wrap my mind around. But as far as like having it in your home or having it like you go on a camping trip, I find it a lot harder to be like, no, you shouldn't have one.
No, that's why. But that's why I wanted to ask specific you guys, because I asked a bunch, because it just popped in my head. I asked a bunch of people, but I want to ask specific you guys because you're a woman and you're like a smaller woman, and you talk about how like you do feel that fear when you walk around, and then I know you've been pulled up on. So I was always wondering, you know, has the opinion changed of like, because I know for a fact everybody's mind, it always enters everybody's mind, like, what if I had a gun on me? Yeah. Like how would that have been? You know? Like, and you just answered it right now, you know?
I've never thought about getting one. I only thought about it until right now. Like, until you asked me the question. Because I was like, do I like, because I carry around pepper spray. Like that's all I carry around. But like for me to carry around a gun, I mean, it may be like a little handgun, but I feel like, again, I think for me personally, I just have such a big fear of them that like, even just looking at them scares me. Like, and I think that's why for me, I don't know if it's like I have to kind of get over the fear if I want one. But I think for me, myself, what I would do is I would like, I guess, get the proper training with it. And like, well, first I would have to get over the fear. Like even the thought of like touching one scares me. Like, but that's just me personally. Like, I feel like it just, I don't know where it comes from, but I think it's just the fact that I've always just seen it so negative. That like just the thought of it, of like me having one in my hand already freaks me out. Like, and that's why for me, I don't think I would get one until I kind of just get over that fear myself. Yeah. Because they generally do scare me. Like they scare me a lot. Like it's generally like I can generally say that I would freak out if I were like to see one.
Yeah. If you were pulled up on.
Yeah.
No, but I think that it's deep though. I think that question of not that question, but that answer of like, I think I might be inviting something. I think it's deep because I always think about, I've never heard him say it, but I've heard it secondhand of people say that Snoop Dogg, when he had a gun, he always found himself needing it. But when he stopped, he miraculously didn't need it anymore. And I think that's really deep because I feel like you're right. I think it does probably do something to your psyche. Yeah. Like, because if you're carrying a gun, you're now lethal. Yeah. Like, yeah, you could probably hurt somebody, and fighting is dangerous and you can kill somebody. But I'd much rather take my chances in a fight than getting shot. Yeah. You know? So I feel like, I don't know, that's just, I think, a super insane responsibility and power to have. And I think power corrupts. Yeah. So I think that's probably why. Because I asked one of my friends about it, and he was like, I don't know, like, maybe having it in a car or something. But then he was like, I don't know, because people go crazy with that road rage. Yeah. You know? Because, like, imagine somebody pulls up when you start talking, because everybody has road rage experience, right? You get in a fight with another driver. Imagine, like, you're mad as fuck, and you're like, I have a gun here. I can flash it at this asshole. Yeah. You know? I'm not going to shoot him. Like, you know? Because I imagine it's probably like a, what do they call weed? It's a drug. What kind of drug is it?
Gateway?
Like it's a gateway. I imagine it's like that. Like flashing it becomes like a gateway of like, I mean, I'm not going to use it. Yeah. It's not loaded. Like I could just flash it at this guy, you know, give him a scare. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, because I have a few friends that I said like they are owners. And one of them lives like in a really bad neighborhood. I mean, it's Los Angeles, obviously. There's like different, but the neighborhood that he lives in is specifically bad. And he's found himself like obviously not using it, but needing it and like taking it out and holding it in his hand and at least flashing it. And from his perspective, he says, I'm just genuinely protecting myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm defending myself, and I would feel more scared without it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, like, I guess is also like nuanced about the conversation is that for the people who feel like they don't need it, I respect that. But for some people, they feel as though like they would be worse off if they didn't have it.
No, yeah, definitely. Because I agree with that too. I feel like there are situations. Because I think like if you're talking self-defense, that is self-defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing more defensive than that, in my opinion.
Nothing more definitive to end the altercation.
Yeah, than that. Like you might be the toughest guy in town, but you're gonna find somebody who will challenge you. You might be big and strong, but you'll eventually meet somebody who will challenge you.
Yeah.
But a gun, you know, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I mean, you might meet somebody who will challenge you, but you're not gonna meet a guy who can take a bullet. You know what I mean, like that. So I think
there's this funny joke that Joey Diaz. Do you know who Joey Diaz is?
He's a guy always on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's always on Joe Rogan, but he's also sometimes an actor. He has his own podcast too. He's basically like this. He's like in his late 60s, I would say. And he's kind of an overweight guy, very old. He's someone that you could easily kind of like take on. No offense to Joey Diaz, but he's somebody that he's just an older guy. You know, he's think of an old man. And he was famously on Hot Ones. And Sean Evans, that's his name, right? The host. Yeah. Sean Evans asked him, like, I know you have background in martial arts. So if somebody were to attack you, what would come out first? Like the jujitsu or I forgot what was another one.
But then he says the gun.
But what's the martial art? Like what's the jujitsu or
he says jujitsu or like a keto or something like that.
Yeah, what would come out first? Like the jujitsu or the keto? And Joey Diaz is like, the gun, bitch. And he's like, and Sean Evans is like fucking laughing. He's like, bro, I'm 60 years old. Like look at me. Like I can't defend myself. Like that's like, why waste time when I know that's what's gonna like save me?
Yeah.
You know, like I can't defend myself. And that's what I mean by like it's nuanced, because there are situations where I can imagine it being very useful, you know?
No, yeah.
I think obviously like, because we can't ignore the climate of the United States. It's obviously such a taboo topic to even talk about. But at least for me, I think of like the historical context of like the Black Panthers or like the genesis, or the genesis of the Bloods and the Crips. Those were created because the cops weren't seen as reliable. If anything, they were abusive to the Black and brown communities. Yeah. And so they felt as though the only way for them to protect themselves is to take up the mantle of responsibility to protect their own communities. And because of that, I'll always find that this conversation, it changes when I specifically think of like people of color. Yeah. I just personally think of it that way.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you even saw when like the Capitol and like all the riots that were happening or the protests that were happening, and when it was like predominantly like white people and they had like guns and like all that stuff and they weren't attacked, but like for us, if we were to go on a riot or a protest and have that, we'd already be seen as the enemies.
No, yeah, definitely. But I think I'm so glad you bring that up, because I think that's why I'm very curious as to what different people think. Because like you, a woman, what does a woman think? Have you guys seen that video of that woman? She lets in a guy at the gym because she thinks like, he's part of the gym. But she's like alone, and he starts like trying to attack her. And there's the video of it where she's like fighting for her life to like get him off her. I think that's pretty fucking scary, you know, as a woman, to be like, fuck, like I'm alone in this gym, nobody's here, it's the middle of the night, and I just locked him in here with me. Yeah, you know, shit like that. Or like think about somebody who's in the LGBTQ community, where violence is like, and right now it's not a good time to be in that community. You know, you think about shit like that, like I wonder, like, do they think about it? Like, you know, that's why I feel like
or you bring up even the riots that happened in 2020 and like all those groups, the Proud Boys, who are armed, and like some of them have extremist, like radical. I'm not saying they all are, but some of them have extremist, radical, racist ideas. Like, and they all bear arms. Like, how do you expect these communities to protect themselves, especially when in these specific areas the cops are corrupt and some of the cops are Proud Boys? Yeah, you know, like to me, and I think that's where I think as somebody who's a person of color, you should at least step back and think of the conversation as a whole, because I think in politics, when you think about like gun control and stuff, it's more centered around like the like European like white Americans, and the conversation to me is just so completely different when you bring up people of color.
Well, also because like even with like the gun control like laws and stuff, it's like the more they start doing laws, eventually it's gonna be like the only people who can afford guns would be the rich.
Well, I think it's interesting.
That's crazy. That's another layer too.
But I think it's interesting that you bring up the like Proud Boys and stuff like that, because I remember, I don't even mean just them, but you've seen those clips of people in like other states that, because I know we're in California, so I guess I get why the conversation between us would be different between like of someone in Texas. They'd be like, bro, like, you know, like, but I think that's interesting because people bring it up all the time where you see those marches where these people are not just armed like with a handgun, they have like military grade like guns. And people talk about that all the time. Like if that was like a black person or a Middle Eastern person or a Mexican person, the reaction to that would be like a lot different. Yeah. But I think that's interesting too, because I feel like that is very scary to have people with that extremist mindset armed to the teeth with that kind of like weaponry. It's pretty scary, which is why I think, I don't know, the conversation is deep for me. I feel like it's just it's interesting to hear everybody's perspectives on it. Because I have a firm opinion on when it comes to like that type of gun control, but when it comes to like everyday person to person, I don't know, I think it's interesting, you know?
Yeah. Because I mean, even the pandemic, bro, people were becoming like unhinged.
Yeah, I know.
Like fear took over, man. And that's not to say that like, oh, like get the gun so that just in case you ever need to kill somebody. And that's not what I mean. I just mean it's just so complex, bro. It's like multi-layered, like, and it changes based on where your area, where you come from,
what you look like,
what you look like the environment that's like around you, and I mean that like politically, like I think it just changed it. So it's really hard, bro. It's really hard because then if I want to go into my schizos rants about how like, because I'm talking about the pandemic, like if the world ever ended, like obviously you would probably be happy that you have some arms on you. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But that's like a scenario that we don't need to think about because obviously we're not in there. So that's kind of it's like not a strong man, but like that's like an unnecessary argument.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, I think it's all just, there's just so many like layers to it, and there's like so many like I guess circumstances of like, again, how you said like it's dependent on the environment, how you live, how you grow up and stuff. And like for me, I feel like I guess I don't want to say like I'm privileged enough to not carry one, because it's like I don't always feel like I'm in danger, but I do get the sense that like there is danger there, and like it would, I guess, give me that armor of being more like prepared if I were to get attacked and stuff. But it's just like, I think for me, the way I think about it is also like knowing if I have to use it, like I'm gonna have to like shoot it, and like to me I'm kind of like, fuck, like I might like injure or kill someone. And I think it's also just that thought of it.
Well, what on my mind's also like, I'm glad you brought up this too, about how some of the plans for like gun control is to just make it really expensive to like buy a gun. I think that's so problematic for a lot of reasons, and it goes back to what we talked about a few episodes ago about how we thought that the not having kids is like propaganda for the rich because only the rich can afford to have kids, but yet those who are in like weaker economic standings are forced not to have kids. I think that's almost like paralleled with like the gun control policy of like only the rich and powerful can own guns in the future, and those who it worries me because, not to get on my schizo rants, my 1984 rants, but I mean, you see the greater and greater divide between the rich and the poor over these last few decades. And if one day it's like, not only do the rich have political, economic power, but they also physically have that power of like right to bear arms because they're the only ones who could afford it. Stuff like that is, I think, things that aren't even like something to like, oh, like a fake scenario. I think it's something that you take serious. I think that's something you seriously should think about when you think about like gun control, when it comes to like that sort of like regulation that you have to have a certain amount of money to even own that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, we all know that rich people obviously aren't morality kings.
Yeah.
You know, like we're not gonna why leave like these weapons to them.
Yeah.
You know, as if like just because you have more money it makes you a better person.
I feel like they don't even care about us.
Yeah.
They're not gonna defend us.
I mean, obviously not. I mean, that's why Amazon doesn't pay their fucking workers. That's why people are striking everywhere.
Yeah.
Because the rich and powerful don't give a fuck about the lower class.
Yeah.
Like, and then they want to pass policies of like, oh, we also get all the weapons too. It's like, that's kind of sus.
Yeah.
But these are my schizo rants, so ignore them as you will.
But yeah, that's about all I had. I just wanted to get your
That's
opinion.
cool. No, that's cool. That's a
Yeah.
deep combo.
Yeah.
Haven't thought about it in a while, honestly. Yeah.
Me too. I feel like I remember talking about it more like
I
in,
know,
20,
yeah.
in 2020 because like all the riots are happening.
Well, I
and,
just
like,
think it was a very like tense time, and I think whenever there's tense times,
I low key feel. Oh yeah. Go.
no, you
No,
go.
no.
Well, I think whenever there's tense times, people get like that.
Yeah.
You know, people get very like, this is the end of the world. Like
Yeah.
it's me against the world. You know,
Yeah.
like we're never gonna get out of
The
this.
Walking Dead.
Yeah,
It's
you know?
happening.
So I think that's kind of why it happens.
Yeah.
You know, like if you like the visual of the insurrection, I think is very like, oh my god, people are taking over the government. Like you know,
Yeah.
I think that's very like, you know, or then. But even if you're on the other side, we're like, they're gonna take away our guns. You know, like it's a very like. I don't think people react well to that.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah, but
It's giving people are scared of like an apocalypse, basically. Like
yeah,
a dystopia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even me, that's what I'm basically talking about. Like
Yeah.
a future where the
Only
rich.
and power have. Only the rich and powerful have riches and power.
yeah, yeah. Well, because I mean, the people talk about the middle class disappearing all the fucking time, bro,
Yeah.
and like that's like. If that happens, if the middle class disappears, and in the United States there's only the rich and the poor, and then they pass regulations where like they have certain, you can only get these certain anonymity if you have enough money.
Yeah.
Then like that's not fair. Then how does change ever actually occur?
Yeah. I always just think about like the history part of it, which is
Yeah.
like with like again like the Black Panthers and the Brown Berets, and then like how when they would go into riots, that's when they started implementing a lot of laws about who can get guns. And like and I guess like defense weapons, and that's why to me at least there's because before I could say that before I was against them, but because of all the different things that have happened with guns, you know, like all the killings that have happened of like just like the mass shootings in general, and I remember thinking like I feel like we shouldn't have them because of all the dangers that it has caused.
No, yeah.
But once I learned a little bit more of like the history, which is like more against Black and brown people, that's when I was like, okay, there's a whole different there's deeper stuff into it than like why we can't have access to those things.
Yeah.
Which is that they don't want us to, I guess, like defend ourselves.
Yeah.
And then you go into the more layers of like who those laws are more catered to, you know? And I think that's when I was having a little bit more of like, okay, like
It's deep.
yeah, it's deep. Yeah.
It's
It's
deep.
deep than just like what has been happening. And even like they even say like the quote unquote propaganda of mass shootings is that thing too, so that we can be like, oh, we should change laws and blah blah. And it's just like
But
you
I-
hear like all those other things too.
But I think in those scenarios, that's why I'm very adamant that that's not what I'm bringing up. Because I
Yeah.
feel like in those scenarios, I get it. Because
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit that gun violence is the number one cause of death in youth in America. I think that's really weird and backwards. I think it's weird and backwards even when I was going to school that we had active shooter drills.
Yeah.
That it's like that it's such a like it could happen that we have to rehearse it in the same
Yeah.
way like a fire, an earthquake, like where it's like, yeah, we hope it doesn't, but
Yeah.
it might, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's really weird and backwards.
It's so normalized.
Yeah. So to make that clear, that's not what we're getting at. But
Yeah.
when it comes to like a person or having it on you, I'm one of those people who's very into self defense. I mean, you
Yeah.
know me, I carry, like I said, and so that's why I always ask people because I'm like, I don't know, you know, I
Yeah.
just think it's complex, you know.
I think especially because we
There's-
grew up in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We have a very real image of what it's like to see people who own guns.
Yeah. And every once in a while you'll hear like
Yeah.
someone shooting it. And you're like,
Well,
what?
yeah. Well, 'cause I think you're right. Some people think it makes them like hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
The ego boost it gives you is otherworldly.
Yeah.
It's just like because of the fact that it's just a very powerful thing. like it can do a lot, you know. And I think that's why a lot of people have that like drive, that like power drive, and like because they have it and they're like, wow, I have this thing now.
Especially if you were somebody who grew up like in a low income community where you felt like your circumstance was out of your control. I imagine
a device that gives you near ultimate control is pretty like, you know,
it's overwhelming, and you probably feel so powerful, bro. The fear just goes away and you feel like now it's my turn to take control of what I can do.
Well, because I think it makes you like a little delusional too. Because remember that when they did that manhunt for that guy who shot the kid during the road rage incident? That was sad. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, in Orange County, no?
It was here. Yeah, it was here. And the guy, there was like a hunt, and he shot the kid. Like he shot at the car that like I guess cut him off, but he didn't know there was a kid back there. So he
remember that?
And it killed the kid.
That was like 2 years ago.
That was not that long ago.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. I remember.
And they did like a manhunt for the guy.
I think I remember.
I think we talked about it at the time on the radio.
I think I vaguely remember it.
Shit like that. I really doubt the guy was like, I'm gonna kill this person. He probably thought like, oh, I'm gonna give him a good scare. I'm gonna give him a good scare. You know. So shit like that, I think is pretty fucking scary. You know, like because it can go from like nothing would happen. I would have never seen this person again to you ended somebody forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because I equated a lot to like the war on drugs in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
Like how the war on drugs is like it targeted like black and brown people, and how it seemed more like it was a war on minorities more than a war on drugs.
And it was. It was. That's why that's why I also think the conversation is interesting, and why I want to ask you guys, because I feel like there's a perspective you guys have that if I was to ask a white person, I mean, I don't mean any offense or anything, but like they don't understand it to a degree the way you guys would. You know, like
there's a level of privilege that comes when it comes to like the conversation of like guns.
I'm sure like the average person might not have the experience of having a gun pointed in their face like you have, you know, and then the average guy doesn't know what it's like to walk around being like, damn, am I gonna die because I'm just a girl? Yeah, you know, or like being an LGBT person being like, can they see it too much on me? Like, are they gonna like kill me? Like, you know, I feel like the average person doesn't walk around with that. Yeah. Which is why I think it's interesting to get this perspective. And that's all I really wanted, you know? Yeah.
No, I think it was a great conversation. And I think it's an important conversation. So thank you for bringing it up, bro. Of
course. I might eventually train on it, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like a super spy?
Like a super spy?
Like an agent?
Yeah. But,
you got anything else?
No, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments.
Yeah, I actually am curious to hear what everybody thinks. Not even on some like joking manner. Yeah. I wonder what you guys generally think.
I want to hear y'all's stories.
Yeah, because I think especially if we have such a like diverse group in our audience, I'd be interested to hear what you guys have, either your experiences or even your thoughts.
Especially if y'all are like in different like
areas, right? Yeah, because I see some of you guys are from Texas, some of you guys are from like New Orleans.
Oh yeah, because in Texas, dude. Side note, I remember watching this TikTok. I don't know how true it is that in Florida the gun thing is like super bad. I don't know how true this is, so take this with a grain of salt. That it's so bad they tell you not to even use people's driveways to like turn around.
Really?
That, like,
people just use use them.
People are like
that pissed. Like
people are like pissed? People are like trigger happy.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
I was watching this TikTok about it. So I was like, is the country really that crazy in some areas?
I just think it's so funny because like Florida, I imagine because it's literally on the opposite side of where we are in California. I imagine it's like the negative version of us. And I'm like, no way, right? It can't be like that. Because I always just hear crazy stories about Florida.
I think in Florida I would have a gun. Not for people, though, but for the alligators.
Yeah, my tattoo artist, he was telling me about how he has a gun. And he grew up, obviously, in LA. So he grew up in a different time when, like, gang violence here in Los Angeles was way worse. But he tells me that he brings it all the time when he goes camping just because...
to be out there in the middle of nowhere.
Well, yeah. He told me that he brings it because of the animal, just like animal danger or anything. He's like, he doesn't go in there hoping that there's an altercation. Yeah. But he said that his perspective also changed about how he really needs to bring it because one time he went on a trip there and there was just this guy camping by himself. Yeah. And he was like telling him a bunch of like conspiracies and he was like super unhinged and like late at night he could see him walking around like the campsites. And he was like, well, I mean, nothing happened, but you can't trust that a person will like always like keep you safe, right?
No, yeah, and that's why I asked, because I feel like in those scenarios, like in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
there's nobody to hear you scream. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty like
Yeah, it's not outlandish, bro. People are psychos.
yeah, people are crazy. You know,
Yeah.
so
I'm scared.
It's okay,
Yeah.
bro. The world can seem scary, but I promise you, everything's cool.
What?
Wait
No,
a minute.
we have to play the game. We can't anyway. Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna move on to a rousing game of Yo Sabo.
Who's gonna play today though?
¿Cómo se dice gun?
Who's gonna play
Pistola.
today?
Pistola. Pew, pew, pew,
Oh,
pew, pew.
Julie, do you want to play this time?
You want to play?
I
I'll host and you and Steve play.
Okay.
Oh, I'm down.
Are we gonna play the different editions?
Yeah, you want
Alright.
to play just these ones because we played those ones.
No, but what are those?
Yeah, that's right. You want to play these ones?
Yeah. Do you want me to open these two?
Which one should we do first? One is this. One is the. I'm guessing the spooky edition.
I mean, we can open them both.
You know what? Yeah, I'll open them. All right.
We can
You're
open them both and see how many there are.
a podcast.
Oh, it says
unboxing?
25. Oh, so yeah.
Yeah.
do half.
Podcast and
I don't
bar.
know.
We could do one. We could do the spooky one, or should we say?
Oh, okay. Sure.
Or
We'll do the spooky one.
alternate. I don't know.
no, I
No,
mean,
let's do the spooky one. It's spooky season.
It's not spooky season.
Oh, you see
Wow.
the knife? Censor
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
YouTube don't
shit,
take
yeah.
it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
But you see how useful it is.
Yeah.
Damn.
You saw that?
Keep
clean.
the picture.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Okay. I'm ready.
Wow, I like
Let me
the
see.
I like the card. Hey, look at the hat.
Ah.
I actually like these.
It's
They're
a
really
witch hat.
cool. Yeah.
Hold it up so they can see it because it's kind of far.
Can you guys see that?
Look at that artwork. Look at that
Ooh.
beautiful.
Ooh.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Open those ones. I want to see what they look like.
Yeah. Yeah. You mind opening it for me?
I guess.
Thank
I'm dead. Don't cut the sana part.
Oh,
It's too late.
I did.
Nah, he didn't get it.
He slightly missed.
Oh, that one wasn't as clean.
Wasn't as clean. Sorry.
It's okay.
Damn.
It's okay.
It's because you scared me halfway through.
Also, does that mean? Okay, let me see. I want to see.
Ooh, so this one is.
Let me see.
Ooh, look.
Wow.
Bada boom.
So that
I
one.
like the little frog.
So what's the theme of that one?
Sana colita de rana.
Oh,
Oh,
I
it's like
guess
medical.
it's like
Oh
health
yeah,
and
it is.
medical.
It is. It's like medical stuff.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh wow! Thank you, Yo Sabo. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
put these away.
Oh, and it comes with. It's not just like it comes with every. You know how there's different cards.
Yeah.
There's like the ones with penalty words and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And the trivia, it comes with.
Oh,
all
it
of
comes
them.
with all that?
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
it's
that's
not
cool.
just the. So we could, if you want to just do the como se dice ones, we can do both. 'Cause
All
then-
right, but here.
Okay. I won't mix them up.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I mean, they're color coded, right?
Yeah, they're color coded.
They have their design.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. So these just had the little brain on them.
Round 2. I hope my dad's
yeah.
watching this time.
Original. These are the
The
originals.
originals, yeah. I hope they send us version 2 whenever they drop it. Because,
The Todo Chido version.
yeah, they got to give us a todo.
¿Cómo se dice gun?
Bruh. ¿Cómo se
Pistola.
dice everything's cool?
Todo chido.
Eh,
Then we'll be in the commercial.
I'm feeling-
Okay, so which one you guys want to start with? Sana colita de rana or
Sono,
noches
fuck.
embrujadas?
I'd rather start with Noches Embrujadas.
Oh,
I'm not going to know the medical at all.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna be bad at this.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I'm about to destroy you, bro.
¿Cómo se dice spell?
Hechizo.
Yeah.
Oh!
Wow.
Wow. So Julie,
I had
Julie
no
has
idea.
1 point. All right, next one. ¿Cómo se dice scary?
¿Espanto? No, espantos.
Scary.
¿Espantado?
I feel like you guys should get this.
Scary? Está muy...
Asustado.
No, that's
Asusto.
no.
Es scary.
Es scary.
It's scary.
It's scary. Scary.
Do you guys want a hint? Can I give hints?
Use it in a sentence.
What?
What I can't
Use
it
the
in a
word scary in a sentence.
What? Oh,
What?
it's
It's scary.
it's scary. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give you. I'm gonna give you guys a hint.
What?
Terror.
The
Terror.
terror?
No, but you're kind of close.
El
Does it
terror?
start with a T?
No, it
Ah.
starts with an A.
No. Asustado?
No, I don't know if maybe you won't get it.
No, wait.
No.
It starts with an A.
I give up. I'm calling it
folds.
quits. I fold. Julie?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's aterrador.
Oh,
Nah.
aterrador.
I wouldn't have gotten
That's why I said terror, because I was like, I feel like that sounds like terror. Okay. ¿Cómo se dice mischievous?
Mestizo.
No.
Just kidding.
Mestizo.
I don't think that means
Se-
something
I feel
else.
like you guys should
Censor
know this.
that one, please.
That's funny.
What is it? What is it?
Mischievous.
Mischievous?
Mischievous. However you pronounce it.
Mischievous?
I feel like you guys should know this.
Mischievous?
You guys should.
Through. Is it with a T?
Yeah.
Oh, trasura? No.
No.
Travesura?
No.
Close. You're very close.
Travesura? Travesuro?
Travieso?
Yeah.
I can't even
that's
say
not
it.
fucking fair.
You didn't say it though.
No.
You didn't say it. 2 points for Julie. Okay.
2 points for Jill.
¿Cómo se dice haunt?
Oh, dude, I'm not.
Hunt?
Espantoso.
Espantoso.
Hunting. El hunt. Me está el hunting.
Me está hunting.
What is this?
Mr. Hunting.
What's the letter? What letter does it start with?
R.
Oof. I fold.
I wouldn't even know
I fold.
this.
I fold. Julie, come on now.
Wait.
You don't know it.
Nah, yeah.
It's rondar.
Nah.
Rondar,
Oh,
no.
actually, that sounds familiar. Rondar.
Then why did you say?
I was I was
Fuck
thinking of
you.
a different word, but I can't remember the word.
Okay, next word. ¿Cómo se dice Grim Reaper?
Grim
What?
Grim Reaper. There's a word apparently. Or there's a.
El Reaper.
El muerto.
El muerto.
El
That's pretty good.
muerto.
Like the santo, like the, you know how they have the.
Oh
death
yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll give you a hint. It's not El.
It's not el. La
La what?
La muerte.
No.
La muerte is pretty good.
La Grim Reaper.
La muerte de Grim. La muerte de Grim. Is that it?
No.
Oh.
I look, thought you did get it right.
I
'cause
know,
you just
me
putting
too,
it
right?
down.
No.
So it starts with la.
Yeah.
La muerte.
It's not. You're not even close with
Oh.
muerte.
La, then I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I
either.
fold.
La parsa.
No,
Ah,
I
la
wouldn't have
parla,
known.
no.
I wouldn't have known.
Come on, guys.
Bro, these are hard.
That's why they're the boosters. Okay. ¿Cómo se dice goosebumps?
What? Wait, actually,
I feel
I
like
might know this
Piel.
one.
No, is it with piel?
no. I feel like the word sounds cool.
Piel de goose.
How do you say goose in Spanish?
I don't know.
That's not a hint, but I'm just asking.
Goose.
I
Yeah.
have no idea. Honestly, this hard
Piel?
goosebumps.
China?
No.
I
No?
feel like my mom's has said it for sure. 'Cause
Yeah,
mom always
my-
gets
my-
goosebumps.
yeah.
Tengo.
Escalofríos.
Yep.
Wow! I
using
gave you the hint. That's like a half point, maybe. I gave you the hint because my mom really does be saying that shit all the time.
Okay. ¿Cómo se dice goblin?
El goblin.
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 Give me a hint. Give me the first letter.
D.
Diablo.
No, that's devil, no?
I know, but I'm like D.
Bro, you don't even have a point. You gotta get on the board.
Fuck, dude, that's hard. These are hard.
Thank God I'm hosting. I wouldn't have gotten any of these.
I know we would have embarrassed ourselves. I fault. I'm
I don't know
sorry.
either.
I'm so sorry, everybody
It's
watching.
duende.
Duende.
Oh, what? Are you serious?
Yeah,
It's duende?
I was gonna say I've heard you guys say that before.
See los duendes. I didn't know that meant goblin.
Well, according to Yo Sabo, it's duende, yeah.
I thought duende was like. I mean, I knew it was like a mythical creature, but I thought it was like its own thing. I don't know.
I guess it's a
I don't
goblin.
know. Yeah, I don't know. That's what it is. It's
Go in
goblins.
duende mode.
Because I thought duendes were like. I thought duendes were basically like
Like
Gremlins.
spirits,
yeah,
sprites.
kind of like small little like guys.
Almost like goblins.
Gnomes.
like goblin
They're
shaped.
like these small little like goblins.
He was like gnomes.
Gnomes.
They
No,
look like
yeah.
gnomes.
That's what I was looking for.
Oh.
I thought they were like
Gnomes.
gnomes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. ¿Cómo se dice fangs? Like
Fangs.
like wolf fangs.
Yentes.
No, that's teeth.
I feel like
I wouldn't
I
get
know
this.
this one. I feel like Bobby said that one. Too.
Mies.
I don't think he'd say me.
Is it with an A?
No.
Then I don't know. Fold.
Come on, I'll give you a hint. It starts with a C.
Cuernos.
No,
Cuernos.
Cuernudos?
Isn't that horns?
No.
Cuernudos.
that's horns. No, you're
Carnes.
no
Carnes.
carnes.
Canines. Can.
It's not cuernos.
No,
Tus
Cuernos isn't that?
That's what
horns.
Bobby used to
Horns?
say. That's what Bobby used to say. No, I don't know.
you guys quit.
Yeah. What is
It's colmillos.
Nah.
Cornillos.
No, not corneos. Colmillos.
Cormillos.
No R. L. colmillos.
Oh,
Colmillos.
colmillos.
Yes.
I thought it was cornillos.
No. Damn. Well, Julie has 3 points.
Don't worry, bro. I'm about to catch up. Watch. Okay, I'm about to catch up. Watch.
¿Cómo se dice deceased? I'm
Muerto.
deceased. No.
I am
Muertido.
deceased.
No.
El muerte.
No. I'm deceased.
I'm deceased.
I'm deceased.
Starts with a D.
Decesio?
No.
Desiste.
Deceasto.
Deceasto?
No.
Oh.
That's not it.
Oh.
You guys quit?
Yeah.
It's difunto.
Nah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Soy difunto.
So
Interesting. Because they do say difunto.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, el difunto, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
Damn, so they're saying the deceased, blah, blah, blah. That's crazy.
Están difuntos. Los difuntos.
Difuntos.
A ver, ¿cómo se
That does
dice?
sound familiar.
¿Cómo se dice creepy? This one's a long word. Creepy. Creepy. Like
Oh
the
my
creepy
God.
crawlies. I don't know if you'll get this one.
No.
No, it's not an R.
No.
Really?
No.
Espeluzante.
Raro? Were you going to say raro?
Yeah.
Strange.
That means
No.
weird, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
strange, no? Espeluzante.
Espeluzante.
Yeah.
I've never heard that one either.
Okay,
Oh, no.
well,
Bro,
that
cut this all out.
bro, you did not get any of the noches
And I'm not
enterradas.
gonna get the fucking.
I feel like you'll get some of these. This
I
is your
hope
time to
so.
shine.
Okay, let me see.
Medicina. There
You know
go.
what? Positive thinking. I'm gonna beat you, Julie.
Yeah,
beat
come
you
back of the
senseless.
century. Okay, ready?
Come
These are the sana colita de rana
Sono,
ones.
sono, colita.
So I guess these are
Bitch.
the health ones. ¿Cómo se dice swelling? I feel like you guys should get
Oh
this.
my God, good.
For sure, we know this one.
You guys should know this.
My body always be swollen.
Swelling. What's the first
I.
letter?
You should get this. You really should get this.
Inflado.
No, but you're close. You're close though.
Oh, you're right. No, but it is something like that.
Inflo.
No, it's longer.
Oh, it's longer.
Inflamado? No.
You're very close. Very close.
Inflamado.
You're very, very close.
Inflamado?
Very, very close.
What isn't? What could I
I
add?
don't know.
Inflamado.
Because that's like inflated, no?
It's inflamed.
Oh,
That's
inflamed.
That's a
Okay.
hint. That's a good
Está
hint.
bien
Inflamed is a good hint.
Está bien. Inflamed. Inflamado.
I don't know. I feel like that's what I would always hear. Inflamado.
Do you guys fold? I'll give you a half point. But
Okay, sure.
inflamación.
Inflamación.
So,
Man, I feel like we should have gotten that one. That's bullshit.
so y'all get both half a point on that one.
That's
Okay.
like
So Julie's still leading. You have half.
that's
a
like
point.
being like it's inflamed. Dude, it's inflamed.
I mean, that's
You know
the
what I
word.
Like that's not fair. Right? Am I wrong?
Oh shit, Julie, you should know this one. This one's pretty interesting. ¿Cómo se dice pap smear?
Papa. Is it still with Papa?
Papa.
Well, it doesn't start with that, but that's in there.
Holy shit, I'm not gonna get any. I'm scared.
Because I was gonna be like, is it Papa Nicola or something like that?
Well, yeah,
Right?
essentially, but I'll give you the point. It's examen de Papa Nicol.
Papa Nicola.
Yeah, whatever you said.
Yeah.
So Julia has a point and a half. And
Also, you have to say examine, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm
You
gonna
know,
give
you know
that.
what? No, okay. You know what? Go
Have
ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
Okay,
Next
okay.
round.
¿Cómo se dice painkiller?
Medicina.
No.
Los.
Medicina del dolor.
That's pretty good.
No.
That's like a half point
It's,
at least.
it's one word. No, that's not even close.
It's one
actually.
word.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know that
I
one.
don't know.
Let's see if I can say this. Analgésico? Analgésico?
Analgésico?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard painkiller.
Yeah, me neither. Damn, these are hard. Pap smear was crazy though that you got that one.
Well, because my mom
Fuck.
was talking about
I don't
it.
think I've ever really heard this
Skip
word.
it then.
I've
Skip
never
it.
really heard this word in English.
Give it.
No. ¿Cómo se dice jaundice?
Jaundice? What is
Yeah,
that? What even? Yeah, you're right. What even is that?
I don't know, but the Spanish word is ictericia.
Yeah, I didn't even know. That.
I can't even say it.
I don't even know it in English.
Jaundice. I've never heard that. Okay, ¿cómo se dice heart rate? This one should be like
Corazón.
pretty.
Beep,
No, not.
Tiempo de corazón.
No, come on, you should know this one.
Then-
It's almost a direct translation. Almost
Heart rate.
a direct translation.
Corazón.
Ruido.
Don't think
Retiado.
Don't think corazón. What's another word for saying your heart?
Pecho.
people say cardiac. ¿Cómo se dice cardiac?
Cardio?
I don't think she's gonna get it. So you guys give up?
Cardiaco?
Yeah, that's
Cardiaco?
Yeah,
the way you
but
breathe, bro.
me?
For me?
No, you're like,
Well, yeah, it's what cardiaco.
damn, these are hard.
Ratido de
They stepped up the
cariaco,
difficulty.
cariaco.
No, I'm just gonna give it to you because I don't think it's a ritmo cardiaco.
Ritmo.
Yeah.
Ah.
I feel like you guys could have got that one, but whatever.
Yeah, I didn't think of ritmo.
Okay, ¿cómo se dice gurney?
Come on, bro.
Cama.
Close.
Cama.
You're close, kind
Oh,
of.
really?
is cama
Cama
in
de
it?
emergencia?
No, I don't think you're gonna get it.
What?
Cama
Hey,
de
bro, give me a
emergencia.
chance. Give me a chance.
So you want me to give you a chance?
Sure.
Throw a Hail Mary.
Cama
No.
de gurney.
There's no de. It's one
gurney.
word.
Oh, it's one word?
Camaria.
El gurney.
Camaria?
Yeah, it's Camilla. So yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna give that to Julie. So damn, bro, she threw the Hail Mary and she caught it. Okay, ¿cómo se dice first aid?
Primero.
Yeah, yeah. Primero what? Primero what?
Ayuda.
No,
Primero.
Ha ido.
no.
Give me a hint on the second one.
It starts with an A.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know.
Primero.
I don't know if I've ever heard you guys say this word.
Almiento? I don't know.
No, you quit.
Yeah, I quit.
Primeros auxilios.
Yeah, no way.
Primeros auxilios.
Yeah.
Bro, this is embarrassing. Give me an easy one, please.
This should be an easy one. ¿Cómo se dice common cold? It's one word. It's one word. Like, how do you say cold? Like a cold.
Frío?
Yeah, kind of close. Kind of close.
Friado.
Enfermedad.
I mean, you know what? I'm gonna give that one to Steve. He said friado. It's resfriado.
O resfriado.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm on the
It
board.
has 1 point.
Fuck yeah, nah.
I'll give
Y'all
that
can
one.
say shit now.
All right. ¿Cómo se dice blood clot?
Oh, come on. Sangre cliado.
No. I mean, kind of close.
It has sangre in it?
Yeah. Something de sangre. So how do you say
Okay.
clot?
Cloto.
Cloto de sangre.
No. You can't just add oh.
I like how he's just like.
He's throwing it out. He wants to see if it sticks.
Cloth.
I don't think you're gonna get it.
Cloth.
No.
I know what cloth means in Spanish.
No, it's coágulo de sangre.
No,
Oh,
dude.
coágulo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut up, dude. You didn't know. Stop pretending, bro. Nobody knows.
This one, this one's interesting. The last one, ¿cómo se dice bladder?
Bladder?
This kind of sounds like another word.
What letter does it start with?
V. Sounds like another word.
Birria?
Birria?
Fuck, I didn't get a single one,
Bro,
bro.
come on. This one, come on. I feel like you could get it.
Bing jugula?
Bladder?
Bladder. It sounds like another word that
Like-
starts with a V.
V?
Yeah.
What-
What on the woman body do you think starts with a V?
Vagina?
It sounds like that.
Vagina.
Vagina?
I don't know.
Vagado.
No.
Vaga.
All right. I don't think you're going to get it. It's vejija.
Oh,
Vejija?
You don't think that sounds like
Yeah,
vagina?
that sounds like vagina.
So, I'm sorry, bro. You got 1 point. 1.5.
Bro, that's not fair. These are fucking hard.
Julie got 5.5 points.
Ooh.
So she demolished you, unfortunately.
Bro, that's not fair.
Hey, man, I didn't make the rules. Tell Yo Sabo to give easier ones.
Man, put easier ones, bro. How am I supposed
I
to
really
learn?
thought the medical one was going to be like, oh, how do you say heart? Or like brain.
No,
you
it was
know?
really hard, bro. I knew it was going to be hard when I saw they were medical ones.
The jaundice one got me. It was jaundice? I don't even say that in English. That's funny.
Actually, give me at least 3 off the Yo Sabo. I got to redeem myself before the
Okay.
episode ends.
All right.
Give me 5, actually.
5?
Yeah, give me 5.
Okay.
And let me redeem myself, please. The audience is shaking their head. I can feel their stares.
¿Cómo se dice
Please love me.
bucket?
Bote? No.
Bruh.
He's losing. Next one. Next one.
No, wait. I only get one chance. No, I know how to say bucket is fuck. My dad always tells me.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah, let me get a hint.
It starts with a C. I feel like you're gonna
Cubete. It's cubete, no?
Close.
Cubeta?
Cubeta.
Cubeta.
Oh,
I'm not
cubeta.
even playing, bro. I got it.
Hey, that's not fair.
All right. ¿Cómo se dice scissors?
Tijeras.
Okay.
Man, fuck you.
All right, I won't play.
¿Cómo se dice skunk?
Sorillo.
Okay.
That one's famous.
It's esconca.
That one's
Yeah.
famous.
I was about to say skonka, not gonna lie. I was about to be like,
¿Cómo se dice floor?
Piso.
Damn.
that's, bro, I didn't know I was
my
I didn't know I
bad.
was being timed right now.
My bad.
All right.
You know what? No, fuck you. All right, Brandon, let's go.
No,
Let's go.
no, no.
Flash on. No, go ahead. He wants to be a big man. He wants to be a big man.
All right. ¿Cómo se dice stove?
Estufa.
Ah, bro, I was literally. He keeps interrupting me.
I keep interrupting. He keeps winning. That's not fair.
All right. ¿Cómo se dice squirrel?
Ardilla. Ardilla.
What did you
What
say?
he just said, no. Azaza. All right.
What did you say?
Was I right though?
Yeah,
ardilla,
right?
Yeah.
He just said Sasa.
It's 'cause I was gonna say Sorillo, then I stopped and I was like, no, wait, wrong one, wrong fucking squirrel. And then it just came out as noise.
All right, this one's you.
Okay.
I want to answer.
¿Cómo se dice soap?
Jabón. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help myself.
That's fucked up.
I couldn't help myself.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
my brain works slow.
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Not fair.
All right. ¿Cómo se dice library?
Librería? Or
Biblioteca.
Yeah. Biblioteca.
In
But it's
Mexican
also
Spanish.
librería. Yeah.
Okay.
In Mexican Spanish is
Okay.
librería.
All right. ¿Cómo se dice dinner?
Desayuno?
No.
No. Desayuno's lunch?
Desayuno's breakfast.
Oh, my bad.
Remember, mom always
yeah,
tells
yeah.
you this later in the
Yeah,
day.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't
Dinner.
it? Starts with an S, no?
Vas a.
Oh, I thought it was vas a cenar. And that means eat, no? I'm right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
the
it's
word?
not with the R.
Oh. Cena?
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's with the C, not an S.
But I
Sir.
still got it right. I mean, damn. Come on, bro.
Bro, you interrupted. First of all, you interrupted the first ones. I would have gotten those
winning
right.
the competition.
Bro, you told me you were gonna play. I didn't know I was being timed.
I'll take away.
You keep tossing and
All right,
turving.
I'll take away my
All right.
mic.
¿Cómo se dice deaf?
Deaf? Estoy bien deaf. Estoy.
Are you deaf?
Sordo.
Translate that in Spanish. Are you deaf?
Yeah.
¿Estás?
Sordo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, what do you. Why does he keep lying? That's what I don't understand.
I thought you weren't gonna get it, so I was like, "Wow."
Wow.
That's crazy, bro.
You
That's
doubt
crazy.
him? You doubt him?
The
That's
test
crazy.
anxiety is really showing right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to. What?
¿Cómo se dice throat?
Garganta.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say anything. See?
There you go, bro.
How many does he have now? We're going until he gets 5.
I mean, he already yeah, that was
All
fine.
right. Well,
You know what? All right.
We're
Julie,
good
give me 3. Make me and Brandon 3. Best of 3. Give us 3.
I already won.
No,
It's over.
no,
It's
fuck
over.
him. No, because he
It's
keeps
over.
lying. He
It's
keeps
over.
lying. He keeps being like, I'm
We're
gonna
gonna
play. I'm
end the
not gonna
episode.
play.
We're gonna miss
I'm
the
gonna
deal.
I'm gonna pick.
We gotta get
All
some
right, one more. All right,
I'll do 3. I'll do 3.
Nah, one more.
do one. Do
Just
one.
one. Yeah.
Okay. ¿Cómo se dice mustache?
Bigote.
Ah, fuck.
I got him. All right.
All right, whatever, bro. Whatever, bro.
I saw him. He was about to say it
I was
too.
trying-
I'm Mr. No Sabo or whatever.
Mr. No Sabo.
I'm Mr. No Sabo. I win the No Sabo game,
You're Mr. No Sabo, and I Sabo.
and you're the Yo Sabo.
I'm the Sabo. Yeah.
I'm the
But
No
yeah.
Sabo, and you're the Yo Sabo.
So
Yeah.
make sure to check out Yo Sabo the game. Shout out to them
Yeah.
again for sponsoring us. All the links will be on our bios. So make sure y'all check them out.
Yeah, they're really cool. 3 Mexican Americans, just like this podcast.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. Yeah.
That's how much fun it is.
He
I'm not
it's
sure.
'cause-
They sent us these today, actually. Like literally the day that we got these today, the day that we're filming. I don't know if they're available on their website. I'm assuming, yeah.
They probably are.
They
should
probably
be.
are. So like, I don't know. They're hard, but I think it's fun.
Yeah. If you want to
So-
see who's the most No Sabo of your friends, go ahead and check them out.
If you've already gone through the cards, you want to make it interesting, pick up the pick
The
up
bonus.
the additional game cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Links will be in the description. But before we go, let me give a quick shout out to our patrons. Shout out to Daniel Villanueva. Shout out to Catherine. Shout out to Jade Chicano. And shout out to Yoel. We appreciate your patronage. And if you want to join the Patreon, our link is, of course, in our bio. But until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.